Hey guys, I just wanted to check in with y'all. As you guys can see, we moved into our new apartment with the ocean view and the little bathroom, and I couldn't be happier. Especially all these plans we have going. I'm planning to get fit. We're gonna go to Mount Everest and I'm gonna climb it. It's so much easier to do those things when you're in love. You know, when you really love someone.
What are you doing?
I was just telling everyone about our big plans and how in love we are. So, I love you, baby.
You're welcome. By the way, fix the hijab, potato face.
Jealous, bitches. Like short hair? I can have short hair. You like blondes? I can be blonde. Hyper. You're gonna get it. Eurobees and shit. Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Marc's around. Say hi, Marc.
Hi, everybody.
And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Welcome back, and happy Saturday. It's the weekend. Coffee in the PM. I'm having hazelnut creamer. Some stuff we got at ShopRite. I don't know. It's good. So, I hope everyone's well and safe. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Today we're going to catch up with our fair lady Chantal. Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, Chantal and Sala. Foodie Cutie for like 3 hours, and then Foodie Beauty again. So last week we were live, and lives in some ways are a lot of fun, and in other ways they're a little more challenging. So we covered a larger number of topics last week. We went into mukbangs, which are continuing and have continued into this week a little bit. Smoking around animals, how she's too fat to fly, how she was gonna go back to Canada, but then changed her mind and instead rented an apartment. Providing an alibi for Nader in a case that he's involved in, where she allegedly lied to protect him. She's hiding in Kuwait from her problem. She's not finding anything. She's trying to run away from everything. She thinks that calling Salah salad is offensive to his culture. What? How many cultures has Chantal offended? And then told people they had no right to be offended because they were misunderstanding her choice of words. And real men don't get involved in petty drama, except when you're married to them, I guess. So, today we're going to look at the mukbangs continuing, how size matters, hers. They're in some new digs. They got a new place to live, and that's actually a mix of me. I'm like super happy for them and it looks great, but then I think she ruins nice things. Missy Moo has, I want to say, almost tried to draw attention to the conflict between her and Chantal. It seems like I'm supposed to care more about what's happening right now, and I don't. And mind you, I'm a viewer and reactor, so I try to look for some patterns or whatever if I can, but it's just, it seems contrived to me with the Missy Moo stuff, but I'll talk about that later. And how this is all still about Nader, because she's 1,200 miles away times 4, across the sun, across the moon, married, happily, and what's in her mind while she's in her... Nader. He's renting free space in her head, and luckily Sala gets to hear all about it. So, at any rate, so the mukbangs continue. The increased views continue. So, over the last couple weeks, at least as they were coming up, her views went into the teens as far as thousands, like 12,000 to maybe 18,000. There hasn't been a mukbang yet from the numbers I can see that was about 20,000. And when she was going through issues with Nader and then the high streams and all that stuff, and people were really engaged in the lie that is her life, she was cleaning up. That's probably the income she promised Sala she could produce. And then she shows up and, you know, we're at Burger King. So the fast food does overfloweth, I would say. At the end of this week, we had Subway, KFC. There was some Indian takeout where she ate a whole chicken, and then she ate a whole pan of ramen on a hubcap. And that was another one too. So it's unfortunate, but I feel like she's kind of backed herself into a corner with the mukbangs. This is confirmation that the things she can do and get paid for is that she's going to have to eat on camera, whether she likes it or doesn't, whether she's hungry or not. Now, it sounds like, well, that's a payday that's like a gimme for her. She gets to do the things she loves and make money for it. I used to love drinking. And if you had told me at the time that I could drink every day and make extra money on YouTube for being that kind of person and showing that kind of content, I probably would have said yes, because I was in the throes of it. You know, if you can't beat it, monetize it. And that's what I would have probably tried to do myself. But Chantal switches between addictions so easily. You know, the motive is always the same, whatever her motive is, but it spills out food, edibles. She'll get herself mentally addicted to things that don't have physical withdrawal symptoms to it, like nashies and the such. She's little more than a spectacle, unfortunately, I think at this point. And again, I don't know if that's how she imagined herself, that she could make money by making kind of a messy joke out of her life and making soft porn for feeders. I don't know. I mean, her prerogative, her life. Again, I want to say it's so easy. All she has to do is this. If I ate 5,000 calories in a sitting for 5 days in a row of all fast food, not even talking about the health complications that I would probably develop that fast, but the mental preoccupation. If Chantal has food issues like anybody else does, and she's not just... I used to say there's like 3 ways with Chantal. She's addicted to food, she has a mental illness like an eating disorder, or she's just a plain glutton. Depends on if you're going the moral angle or the medical angle. Otherwise, she just eats and she likes to eat, and there's no bad reason for it, and she's just wants to feel good all the time. Kind of a hedonist type of thing. And the food does that. And hasn't she found herself in a nice position? Because now she has a husband who will bring her all the fast food she needs. So, how is Salah on board with this? I'm wondering. Money. As soon as he saw the income would go up and stay up, he not only didn't discourage it, he brought her the food. I would hope Marc loved me so much that if I had a crippling, physically debilitating illness, he would bring me things to exacerbate it, because that's love, right? That's love of money, that's love of attention, it's not love of another person. And I think she probably wishes that he did care more than he does. You know, hey, I'm gonna eat myself six days in a row. Well, good. Make sure you're covered. So size does matter, as I have a little kitty here. You guys see Oscar probably a third as often as Bandit, but you can see his little ears poking up. Size does matter, but not for the love of kitties. Chantal is getting larger. This is not a moral judgment I'm making. This is a matter of time, space, matter not being created or destroyed, all that kind of thing. She's bigger, and there's pictures showing her looking larger. An abaya should not be snug. It should not be fit. It defeats the point of modesty if I can see every wrinkle and curve of her body. Now, it's been suggested before, I think Milty might have said, yeah, if you can't find a bigger one, go to a shop, get it fitted for yourself. We're all different sizes. I think she'd be more comfortable. I don't think it would be more flattering, because I think she's hit a weight now where, you know, it's not gonna fix anything. It doesn't make her ugly, but it makes her sort of like at death's door and probably hard to travel with. You know, Salah took on quite a bit when he decided he was going to marry Chantal. I don't think he knew the half of it, because I don't think most of us know the half of it. But he loves the money more than he loves her. So he'll do things for her. She says she loves it. Again, if I was drinking at the time, oh God, I love Marc. He brings me a fifth of vodka every day, and all I have to do is film myself drinking it, and we can be wealthy. It sounds on the like when I was 20, that might have sounded good, but not so much now. So, with her getting bigger, with the unedited things, and eating the fast food every day, multiple days in a row, I used to have, eating disorder issues. I know I don't want to bring it up too much because YouTube doesn't like discourse about that. But I'm familiar with calorie counts, weight, what's in certain foods. Even if she was doing OMAD and only eating those one meal a day, the chicken, the rice, the noodles, whatever it is, and she ate absolutely nothing else, she would still gain weight. She is so inactive. Mount Everest, that's not even a troll. That's like, yeah, right. Most people I know probably aren't in shape and prepared to do that, especially if they've decided, oh, in my free time, I'm going to go mountain climbing. You know, she's a little bit used to the cold, but other than that, everything's working against her for that actually happening. Um, if Sala isn't there, she's alone most of the day. I'm wondering if once now that they've moved, it'll be the same thing. She has to do with Ramadan. It's only wrong if you get caught. It's only cheating if you get caught. So do we want to bet that she probably ate throughout the day all through Ramadan? And when he comes over to bring her food and then leaves, she's trying to concentrate that down to an act of love. He's feeding me. He profits off of her hurting herself. She doesn't see it that way, obviously, because she's 250 pounds overweight. So she's not getting it right now. But he gets it just fine. All he has to do is stay tall, keep all his hair, bring her food. They'll actually get married maybe at some point from then. So, yeah, when you have a grocery haul and like 80% of it is crap food, you know, it is what it is, I guess. So the new digs, probably one of the, depending on your perspective, the bigger pieces of news, they moved again. So this would be her third move in a short period of time. By all accounts, this place is, I don't want to say it's nice or not nice. It's a definite upgrade though from where they were staying. They have windows. They have long, big windows with an ocean view. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful view. The bathroom isn't all that it could be. It's too short for Sala and too narrow for her, but unlike most people, Chantal won't have to use it that often. She doesn't shower as often. I get it. It's hard to shower when you're big, and part of that could be a little bit of lazy slovenliness. Like, hey, if I don't smell, I don't care. Or if no one thinks I smell, they can smell. They're being polite. They can smell you. So maybe there's another bathroom there available for her too. Something similar. One of those rooms like they have at the car wash where like, you know, there's a drain in the floor and you just hose people down. They used to do it before people would come into state prisons. They'd like cover them with stuff to kill lice or whatever. At that. So she has a beautiful place, lots of windows, awesome view. Why would anyone be mad at her for just living so well? Is it jealousy? For some people, yeah, it absolutely is. If I could, you know, have easy money for something I'm going to be doing anyway, might as well. And she was fat before she started YouTube, so it's not like Nikocado where part of the spectacle was gaining weight. She started big. That's where the fan base kind of began, and that's who these like kind of licking the fingers, food falling down the face. There's enough of a market for that to have her stay comfortably renting in Kuwait. I don't think she would explode as a mukbanger though. I just don't see it. There would be huge backlash about her being fat and eating, which I'm kind of like whatever about. Like, fat people still have to eat. They don't have to go to Burger King, but neither do I. Otherwise I would still be thin. Obviously I'm doing some fat guy stuff if I put on weight. So I'm, you know, I'm not saying better or worse. I'm just saying she doesn't acknowledge it. And then when life has complications, she seems dumbfounded as to how. Why don't they make plane seats for people my size? Because most people aren't that size. And you should pay more. It's called first class. You know, if you want to eat, you got to pay more for a ticket. It's not unfair. If any of us were traveling with another 200-pound person and demanded they sit in the same seat as me, no matter how uncomfortable it made everybody else, that's like kind of entitled. Beyond other things. That's when it goes from, you know, accommodating a disability reasonably and wanting special treatment. That's I think where that kind of cuts. So it's a definite upgrade. I feel like Chantal lives at the top of her means, above and beyond what she doesn't pay in taxes. So not only does she not take any cut of it, 10, 20, 30, whatever they would take in Canada, I feel like it's a lot, especially for how much she was making relative. And she keeps all that. So she's living the lifestyle of someone who makes about, I don't know, a third more than she does, and trying to keep up appearances kind of as well. So, jealous maybe. Some people I think probably feel like she's ill-gotten gains, that the kind of thing she had to do to come up with the resources to do a move like this meant forfeiting a lot of character. A whole lot of character. You know, and you know what a class act she is anyway. So, you know, pile that on top of it. So was she going to go back to Canada? Well, there was a community post that came up said she was going to go back to Canada and find a place to rent and then she would be there for a bit, and then she'd chase French Fry Girl down because she took care of the pet Chantal neglected and then abandoned. And somehow that makes her the bad guy. Makes French Fry Girl the bad guy. So I don't know about figure that out. She'd use that as a chance to scare, I think, French Fry, but I don't think she scares easily. And I think she could afford more of a lawyer than Chantal could. Besides, Chantal is like, she's going to find herself a man without a country at some point. I think she will screw up the immigration process to the point where she's going to have to stay somewhere she doesn't want to stay for longer than she wants to stay there. Probably around the time this falls apart, I'm thinking. Because that's when we're going to find out that Sala was just like Natter, made her give away the cats, moved me into a small room with no windows. Like, she didn't beg for the situation to happen. You know, any complaint out of her in Kuwait would be like, it was your call to come here. But it's strange because it's not complaints. It's overjoy for very simple things. Like, ooh, they have stray cats here. Stray feral. They have those other places. And of course, their new apartment is just the size for a new kitty. Of course she would. Not just to troll, she would get a cat. Because then what's she gonna do? Leave it with him for that's how the hamster died. She left it alone. The hamster is not with us anymore. I don't know if it moved, it died. She said she missed it. It might have got smoked out by all the shisha. And it's not, we just started being more responsible, smoking outside and then vaping instead of smoking, things like that. So we've made an effort to try to do it. It's a new effort, though, so I'm not in a position to say, oh, she smoked up the whole apartment with the cat. I can say it's not ideal, and that, you know, it's not helpful when a hamster is much smaller than a cat, and without windows or ventilation, everybody in there probably stinks to high heaven. A hamster cage in a small windowless unit with Chantal, and it's 100 degrees outside. Hell. Absolute hell. So, I don't know. She covered up the windows of the new place like she used to, so it has like this wrinkled sheet in front. Beautiful view. Beautiful view. And she's got the whole thing covered in the windows. And they're up on a higher floor, at least the one she showed us was on a higher floor. Mind you, this is Chantal. She could have went to tour an apartment, took pictures, and then stayed in the same place. And just kept the same sheet up. She's just done worse. She's had bigger deceptions come out and then blames the audience for pointing it out. You guys just nitpick about the stupidest little things. Lying about where you're living? Why tell anybody? You know, you wouldn't have to. All this brings us back to Natter, I believe. Everything, in some way, since it has been to try to make Natter jealous, to try to get his attention, to try to make him look stupid, look foolish, all this kind of stuff. Now, she never acts on that. For a guy that's dragging her into she put herself into a sticky situation legally. You know, dude just wasn't that into her. Like, he wasn't. He was into the money. He was into the lifestyle. His habits cost money. We'll just leave it there. And she had it. And she would imbibe herself to be part of the party, to be part of the show or whatever. If I were in her situation, let's say married, we're married, you know, for real, and Marc spent hours talking about someone he dated for a week a year ago, after we've been married and moved across the world and into our new together forever type place. So, and you're talking about an ex from a while ago. It's so sad that she's at what, like, she says is the happiest part of her life. And all these people from YouTube rent space in her head. Charlie Gold, French Fry Girl, Missy Moo Maybe, all of it. All of it. It's very unfortunate to be in the position that she's in, actually. I think Sala doesn't care that she talks about Natter, and I kind of think she wishes. Jealousy, I think, to her, proves love. You know, jealousy is not love. It can come with it, but I would think she would want him to come in and say, we are married, we are together, I love you, I don't want to hear that man's name in my house again. And fix your hijab. And I don't think it's like that. I think he has this very hands-off, hey, do what you want, either because he doesn't care or he's too laid back for her. She wants jealousy. Jealousy means proof of love. If you're jealous, then that means you really secretly feel some sort of way. She loves proof of love, but you can't fake it on somebody else's face. You can't fake love, just like you can't fake it with like animals. Animals can tell a bad person from a good one. And she has no pets now. How about that? So, whatever. Fix your hijab, potato face. Okay, so the stuff with Missy Moo that's going on. For a quick kind of rundown, Missy Moo was a fan of Chantal's, a VIB, and a close one who alleged they had conversations offline and texted back and forth and all that kind of stuff. And she was a big supporter of hers. And then, of course, over something that's not that big of a deal, Chantal freaked out, carried on about the whole thing. The whole thing with Missy Moo makes me suspicious. And it makes me suspicious because Chantal tries to pick fights with other creators, and a lot of people don't take the bait because all she can get money off of is eating and rage. So if she's been eating fast food every day for a week, she can't find a fight to make. I always wondered if Missy Moo, because she was such a ass kisser, would have offered herself up for the sake of drama in the interest of creating more views on the channel. They both have DMs apparently, and Chantal says they both have the same ones, and I don't really care. Like, it's I don't know. What did come up was the email that came up just today, or yesterday or today, I think. As part of this discourse back and forth, Missy Moo alleged and showed an email in a community post or on Twitter, I forget, that said it was from Chantal to Missy Moo's mother about what a terrible person she is, and you should probably tell her to stop immediately. Now, the tone of the email was very much Chantal. It was very much, very judgy, very superior. Like she hasn't done all the same shit and worse to other people. But it was different when she did it because rules don't apply to her. They don't. You don't have to pay your taxes if you move. Whatever. So the Missy Moo stuff, this email that came was pretty vicious to the mother. But again, I don't know. It's probably me. I have not heard this anywhere else. Maybe I'm just having a paranoid week, but I feel like it might be horseshit between the two of them. Because it's not that interesting. It's got the air of trying to keep you interested, like everyone's got proof. Maybe this is a video where the proof will come out. I don't think it's going to. So, I don't know. Like I said, wouldn't be surprised if it was staged. And apparently some of the information that was sent back and forth had to do with Sala being not too thrilled with having so much of himself online. And from we've seen the videos, Sala comes in around 2 a.m. at nighttime, and who knows what he's out doing. And now that he has a nice big place to himself, and she's gonna have to leave for a little bit, perhaps, maybe he can entertain some company. Because if I know Chantal, she cut him off from all his friends and said, I guess they're not the people you thought they were. What that translates to is, I've now convinced you that your friends are not the people that you thought they were. So make it seem like everyone's out to get him and Chantal's the only one on his side, when she's the only one with the access to do harm to him. He had friends and allegedly a job. And now, for her doing all the mukbangs and everything, wouldn't a high quality husband say, I got us financially. You don't need to do this anymore. You can do whatever you want to do, but you don't need to do this behavior anymore. I will look after you. I will take care of you. Instead, he brings her the food. That tells you everything you need to know. He benefits out of her food addiction. He benefits out of her existence pretty much at this point. So aside from inserting himself into women's issues, he's also kept. He's barely a man by most standards. Now, he's tall, I'll give him that, and he's okay in the face, but for everything else that you'd have to deal with, I don't think it's worth it, Certainly not worth it to be him. I wouldn't be able to put up with a Chantal in my life, male, female, wouldn't matter if she was 600 pounds or $120. The smugness, the self-centeredness, it's just not, people don't like people like that. It seems like she thinks it's a mystery. Like, real friends love being treated poorly. You guys are no friends of mine. Or real friends get over things I did quickly, while I hold on to them for 20 years. Hypocrite isn't a new word to be applied to Chantal. So it's not a surprise. I'm sure that she wishes that Sala cared more than he does, I would say. So all that together, where do we go from here? Well, her channel is her income, so I suspect mukbangs and rages, pretty much. The rages are a little out of character, they're petty, they don't highlight, to the extent that she has good qualities, it doesn't highlight any of them. She always comes off after a rage sounding petty, entitled, spiteful. She comes off as an emotionally messy hypocrite who can't keep herself in check. She has zero self-control of her own behaviors. But other people should all be entirely within control of theirs and understand and accept that she deserves to be treated a certain way no matter how she treats anybody else. And she will always say somebody else started it. So I think Salva's gonna get tired of her quick. And I think, like a lot of people have said, and I said too, when she fakes broke or she's gonna come back to Canada, those are threats to Sala to fall in line. They're veiled threats to him. You better get it together. I think at a certain point, it reached like, look, kid, this is how I make my money. You wanna be along for the ride? Get on board. And so he brings the food. So that's how much he loves her. That's how much he loves her. You can call it enabling, you can call it, I think it's just call it profiting. I mean, he's profiting, and so is she, off of her having a huge craving for food that she doesn't mind showing everybody. The drama's what it is, but since she's been lying so much, I mean, she was always withholds the truth. I've been watching Chantal for years, but this is among the least likable she's been. Usually, like, the more you get to know people, the more you kind of accept their faults, but like them and not take things too seriously, even if a viewer or a friend, but she doesn't leave any room for that. She leads off arrogant, often, and that's what she gets back. And then when someone says something to her, do you see how mean everyone is to me? Anyone with 2 cells in their brain could tell that she's full of shit. Anybody. I would like to see a turnaround for her. I think a Foodie beauty turnaround story would, like, rock girl world. But like so many other things, I think, with her, it's for show. The appearance of how things look to her is much more important than how they actually are under the surface, just keeping up appearances. Hence the filtering. If she never really looks in a mirror, does her makeup in the filters, and then films filtered stuff, then she'll always look good, right? She put out this week 2 pictures next to each other. One's filtered, one's not filtered. They were both filtered. Like, we haven't seen her videos at all. Every so often, filter fails, or a shadow betrays the actual size of her versus how she is. And if she doesn't care and she's proud of it, why cover yourself up to your nose and never leave the house? So that's all we got for this week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Smokeysteveandmarc, Twitter, SmokeysteveA, and Smokeysteveandmarc on Instagram. Email address and contact info is below. Thank you all again, and we will catch up with you hopefully tomorrow. We go live on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, so if you're in the neighborhood, don't hesitate to stop by. Open chat, very chill, no topic, so come and hang if you'd like. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Say bye, Marc.
Bye, everybody!
Bye. You're welcome.